Sandy kept dragging the scratch on her body with a fork without stopping, and the hair that fell on the cake made it look like a small hairstyle. When SpongeBob saw the cake was no longer edible, he started training karate with Sandy, but the itching on Sandy kept getting worse. She felt like something was biting her, so she leaned closer to look and found a flea biting her skin. She squeezed it with her hand, but it moved, so she started kicking and trying to bite with her mouth. The situation left SpongeBob and Patrick completely confused during this suffering. Sandy told SpongeBob to bring her bag, so he did immediately, and she put on a suit to fight the flea, and in the end, the flea jumped at SpongeBob. At first, SpongeBob thought about keeping it as a pet, but the flea bit Sandy, so they put a collar on it, but then the flea jumped on Patrick and tortured him until his whole body was covered with bumps. Patrick tried to get rid of it, but in the end, he grabbed SpongeBob's collar and put it on himself to find relief, and with no other place to go, the flea returned to Sandy, but there was only one collar, so they started fighting over it. Even worse, the flea started multiplying, and small fleas came out of it. Sandy tied the collar to restrain all three together, thinking this would get rid of the fleas, but the fleas kept multiplying until they even bit the collar itself. They tried to run, but the fleas surrounded them and filled them all with bumps. When SpongeBob and Patrick tried to walk, the fleas blocked their way. At that moment, Squidward passed by and saw them calling for help and pretended not to notice. Patrick started blaming Sandy for the flea, then cursed SpongeBob for bringing him to Sandy, but Sandy said they had to work together, and suddenly Patrick got an idea. The first thing he said was for SpongeBob to climb on Sandy. Back then, Patrick climbed on top to eat an apple, which made Sandy unable to talk, and the army of fleas kept multiplying more and more. When they were close to taking over, SpongeBob sarcastically said he wanted to die in the water, and that gave Sandy an idea. She put on her helmet and used karate to wipe out the fleas and opened the door. A wave of seawater rushed in with full force, and in the end, all the fleas were washed away, but as the water kept coming in, all the residents of Bikini Bottom were dragged away with them.